Hello. That's wild and what an adventure. Welcome to our very unhinged tea time today, Grand Arbiter. How exciting that things are doing what they wish. Is it Friday the 13th? Is that what's going on? Are we cursed?
No, it's October the 4th.
October the 4th. So there isn't a curse.
It's because it's October. October is fourthing with you.
Oh, that's what's going on?
October is fourthing with you.
Sorry,
a little bit late, everybody. It's just a thing that happens.
Yes, we've been having some technical difficulties, but we're here. And we're so happy to be here. Grand Arbiter, it's so wonderful to be in this space with you, my darling. You're looking very spooky and mysterious.
I am the knight.
You are the disco knight.
Disco at midnight.
Woo, my goodness.
I am the Funky Town Fever.
You are the Funky Town Fever. That explains so much. Good evening, everyone.
The sparkling abyss.
You are the
I
sparkling
reflect
abyss. All
your sins back at you. Ooh. All your cruelties reflected like a kaleidoscope of self-pity.
A kaleidoscope of horrors.
Yes. I'm a kaleidoscope of horrors.
Ooh.
Comment in the comments to let us know that you're here. Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Hello, my darlings. Good evening. Welcome.
Spicy comments. Yeah.
Welcome. It's wonderful to have.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let the Grand Arbiter, bring us in.
Oh, yeah. We're dancing. Yes. I think we're slightly delayed. So we've told them to comment, and then all of the comments come in because of the slight delay, the studio delay.
Yes. Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to see you. Phyllis, I'm delighted you're here. Hello, dear Tracy, Ty, Lady June Squirrel. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to spooky season here at our Friday tea. We're very invested in facing off with the existential horrors before us and other sundry spooky nonsense all month.
Yeah. We've got some exciting Sip the Teas coming up with a professional ghost storyteller and ghost hunter.
Yes, and author. Leanne Renee Heber is going to be joining us on October 12th for Sip the Tea. Very exciting. We've also read a couple of Leanna's books for book club. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. And then in 2 weeks, so not this week, not next week, but the following week, we have super special, super gay, 33% gayer.
We do have super gay, 33% gayer, but actually, Grand Arbiter, we did not have a chance to discuss this. David R. Slayton is joining us, as you know, but he had to change the schedule. So it's actually next week that's going to be super gayer.
Okay. So 33% gayer next week. Really was like Glenn has to read a whole book in a few days. Great.
Yes, I'm
really
so
making me do my Grand Arbiter do his homework very quickly.
That is correct.
Turn a leisurely read into crunch time, don't you?
Well, and hello, Tracy. We're so happy you're here in your heels and your very comfortable recliners. That's the perfect way to be. And Aunt Lydia almost made an appearance. She was watching her cycling videos.
Good for her.
We love Aunt Lydia. She's the gayest. So, yes, it is already 100% gay. That's us. There's going to be 133% gay.
It's 33% gayer. It's like one of those adverts that says, now with 33% more.
So, yes, we will be sitting down with not one, but two authors next week. Gay plus ultra. Oh, that's nice. I like that. That's good. That's I could get behind gay plus ultra. So we'll have 2 authors next week. We also have book club this month. We're reading the delightful Dreadnought by Sherry Priest. And listen, you want to have some spooky ooky good times. That is a wonderfully spooky there we go, atmospheric book. Boy, there we go. There we go. That's readable. Dreadnought by Sherry Priest. Ooh. There's zombies. There's weird mad science. There's corporate greed, out of control classism. Those are big horrors. Racism. There's a lot of terrors in this book.
Lots of problems to be solved.
So good.
The horror is most foul. And of course,
no.
at the end of the month, or the last Friday of the month, I will be on a jet plane to Vegas, baby, to play some magical cards. Which, okay, we're gonna have a real talk.
Yes.
For just a minute.
Oh,
because it's been so crazy. I don't know what to tell you. So, for those who don't know, the Grand Arbiter, that's me. Totally obsessed with Magic the Gathering to a insane degree. I've been playing Magic since I was like 12. And off and on. Yes. More on than off. But this last year, this last 2 weeks has been the most dramatic, over the top, like inherently like had weird political angles Magic events I've ever seen. There's been bannings, there's been death threats, there's been the delusion, the dissolution of a 20-year arbitration organization. Like it is
20 years.
Yeah. It's been like the organization has been in place for at least 15.
The drama.
Yeah, no, it is banana pants. The end of a legacy, the capturing of a community-run organization by the corporate oligarch who promises to be better. It's a wild time. No, we trust some of these folks, obviously, individually. It's been the single most say the word.
Traumatic?
No, the other word. The word I can't say because it has a weird sound.
Can you type the word for me so I know what word you'll mean? Tumultuous.
Tumultuous. I can't ever say that word. Like I can envision it. I can imagine the letters, but then I'm like, how does that word go?
Well, it's that tumult is really like there's an interesting.
It's also the OUS sound at the end. I'm actually very bad at those.
Oh yeah, well they're overrated.
There is. I don't think that there's been an energy vacuum other than the energy vacuum of like the grossest, like everyone has the darkest part of their fandom. And sometimes that part of the fandom is like louder than other parts.
Yeah.
We saw the worst parts of the Magic the Gathering fandom. And it's a notoriously spicy fandom to begin with, a very judgmental, mean fandom in some instances. And so it was at its absolute worst.
Yeah.
So I am hoping that stuff will be like simmered down to a safe for frogs temperature.
Oh, thank you very much, Ty. Thank you. I love this top, and there's no drama with the top. Only the drama.
The only drama is whether or not it will be able to contain the ladies.
There's a lot of like excited jazz hands happening here with this top. No, the real drama with the top is that I don't have two, and so when it finally ends its existence, I shall be deeply distraught because it is one of my favorite frocks. And the place I got it a few years ago has never gotten something quite as charming. And yeah, skeleton de Fosse.
Okay, I'm gonna shift my body around just a little bit. Shift. Okay, so
Grand Arbiter, let us take a moment, just a the briefest of moments. We had a bit of a technology curse getting into things. You're having a bit.
Apparently I have like cats of my own these days.
We're having a time, but we are so happy to be here and with all of you, and we are going to have a spoopy night tonight. It is that time of the year, Grand Arbiter. We both love Halloween.
I mean, we're pretty spooky people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am. I would say that. So, if I were to describe my existence, I'm I would say that in the tale of the multiverse,
yes,
Glenn is a multi-dimensional angle from which you only see one side at any given moment.
Ooh, yeah, that's.
And I would say that Madame Askew is more of a lurking in the deep kind of horror creature. But the Grand Arbiter and Madame Askew are really delighted. The line is very thin. As we've gotten thin, the lines between characters and real people have become quite thin tonight. So apologies for breaking the illusion. The spirit realm is close.
Closet Deep One. Yes, that's me, the Closet Deep One. In fact, let's just make that Renee official. Closet Deep One. So, yeah.
So
that's good.
Today, we've talked about all that stuff, and you can check out all the stuff that's happening this month in our calendar, which is on the Patreon and is available for everyone.
Right, and the link to the calendar is going right now to all the comments. So whilst the newsletter is being redeveloped, recreated, built new from the ground up, which
it's really a Frankenstein thing. We built a whole Frankenstein, and then a corporate entity came by and killed our Frankenstein. Our gentle, kind Frankenstein that we put together with our loving stitches, torn asunder by capitalist oligarchs. Again, doing everything for everyone. Once again, it's
honestly
the capitalist oligarchs.
I feel like the capitalist oligarchs are the worst and scariest monster of the season, and they keep getting in our way, which I really do not appreciate.
That's true. But we are here for fun. We are going to approach the edge of death, and we are going to be playing a series of runs, adventures in Victorian Deathbed Simulator, available on titch.io. Do you have a link for that?
Give me but a moment, and I will have it again. Pardon me for the very bright white light that you're experiencing. That's because Carol Ann is calling me into the light. What does that sound? Is that meant to be your zombie deathbed simulator?
It's my monstrous curdle as I'm turned terrible. But this is a cute, adorable game made by a single designer, I believe.
Yes.
Who just threw this together for funsies, and we appreciate them and their endeavors in Victorian science. And thus we shall begin, because that is the only option, is just to begin.
And here's the wonderful thing about this game, my darlings. It's $1, so if you are amused by this, it is a very inexpensive amusement to add to your arsenal. And here's the other fun thing about this game. You have the power to at least attempt to convince the Grand Arbiter of the right choice in these scenarios and to help guide the Grand Arbiter's decision as the person who has the enormous fortune. Who will he leave his enormous fortune to as an inheritance? And
Yes.
I shall be playing the entire cast of people who
Really,
are coming.
showing all of your acting chops to their maximum power and capacity.
Yes, that's
really
it.
Stretching your skills as a performer.
Yes.
Let's show them all of our strength. And let's just begin.
Yes. All right, let's do it.
The only way to win is by learning, and the only way to learn is by beginning. So let us begin. Thank you, Sam Reich.
I was going to say that sounds very like a Star Trek aphorism, but
it's the opening lines to Game Changer, featuring host and producer Sam Reich.
Thanks, Game Changer. Well, let's
hear the whole time.
Let's get on to it, Grand Arbiter. Ooh, Victorian Deathbed Simulator. I think she does look appropriately bereft.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
What has happened?
I have lost the ability to see my cursor.
Oh, I can see it. One pale, interesting, all of that. Absolutely. It's true. Very important.
We're going to hold on.
Yes.
I am going to get this back here. I'm going to stop screen.
Oh, right.
I'm going to fix whatever's happening over here, because that stuff is not working.
So
it was working last time, but it was not working now.
I was going to say, in good news, we have given this a dress rehearsal and a trial run, which dear buttery goodness, Bill Barden, witnessed in its very refined and highfalutin. There you go.
Okay.
Are you ready? All right. Here we are. One pale, interesting.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You're awake.
Dun, dun, dun.
Your name is Artie Mindwell McKelsifer. At the ripe old age of 70, your time on this mortal coil is nearly up.
Ah!
As benefits a person of your station, you have an enormous fortune in inheritance to bequeath to the most deserving individual.
Ooh.
3 beloved, though distant relatives will visit you, intending to pay their final respects. Choose wisely. One of them will be the beneficiary of your enormous fortune.
Woo! Woo!
Knock, knock, knock.
Hello! May I come in?
A tall woman enters the room. You can tell by her dress that she is not rich, but neither is she unable to keep up with current fashions. The lace at her collar is simple but well kept.
Is this a good time for a visit? I apologize. I did not let you know I'd be calling.
The outfits. She stands at the doorway, awaiting your permission to approach. No matter, ma'am. People are in and out of here at all possible hours, and at least you don't appear to have brought any leeches. The woman smiles, approaching your bedside and sitting upon the chair. Her posture is keen and polite.
You may not remember me. I believe we've only met once before at your brother's Christmas party, maybe 4 years back. Matilda Fordshire.
The names the names. Okay. You search your memory, and yes, you do remember speaking to this bright young woman, though you can't recall precisely how she is related to you. No matter. I do recall. Thank you for taking the time to come and see me. Matilda smiles again, a little awkwardly, as one tends to when visiting the imminently dying.
Well, you may be pleased to know I have opened my cafe.
More than a hint of pride enters her voice as she says this, and while you do not recall the details of this conversation, you infer that she must have shared this dream with you when you last met. Getting old is irritating. The details become fuzzy. Even so, it is clear she has been excited to share this news with you.
Ooh, are you going to congratulate her?
Here's the choices. I can congratulate her at her success, or I can change the subject dramatically because I don't stand for a braggart, which does sound like a slur.
But braggart is one of those insults that I think is really, really lost in the world, and it is so useful. Oh, Tracy says change it.
Okay. Well, I am dying, and I feel like celebrating your success with me while I'm dying and not bringing up that I'm dying as the first part of the conversation seems a bit rude.
Oh, I'm just so enthusiastic.
I'm going to change the subject. I cannot stand a braggart. It appears time for a hasty subject change. You cast around for topics of conversation and settle upon compliments. That is a lovely hat you're wearing, dear. Did it come from the milliner on Watling or the newer one? Despite your brilliant small talk, Matilda appears visibly put out for a moment. She does, however, regain her composure quickly.
Why, thank you. Yes, it is from Watlings. I'm not surprised. You could tell they have a specific way with their bows, don't you think?
To her credit, it was a very smooth recovery. Matilda's jaw is set, and she appears ready to talk about hats for as long as you wish. Yes, hats. The conversation goes as such. You discuss hats, clothes, preferred seamstresses versus unfavorable ones. It is, as far as conversation go, a polite one, devoid of much else. After a while, Matilda thanks you for your company and leaves with a poised courtesy.
Toodaloo!
Okay. A short time later. So our first person is a person who I so rudely interrupted that we basically talked about nothing.
Well, you talked about hats, and isn't that a lovely time?
It's a lovely time. Pleasant for me, not for her. A short time later.
May I enter?
Madame Askew is always thrown because she never knows the gender of the person before she enters.
I know nothing about these people.
Oh. After a respectful pause, a man
Thank you, Aunt Lydia.
Through the door.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Lord. Is now a good time? I wasn't sure if you were asleep.
It sounds like a little bit like I'm being visited by like Shere Khan or like another one of the like Disney villains that talks in that weird raspy voice.
Listen, we had this conversation. I don't do soft-spoken very well. All I can do is like evil and slightly, you know, yes.
Okay.
Right. Is now a good time? I wasn't sure if you were asleep.
He steps in properly, and you're able to get a better look at him. The young man is tall, dark-skinned, and respectably dressed in business attire, with a kind smile on his face. While you don't recognize him offhand, you smile back easily. Come in, young man. Thank you for visiting me today. The young man nods and approaches, removing his hat and sitting himself on your bedside chair.
Webster Crumblebottom at your service. It's good to finally meet you. We're related through Uncle Mortimer, but I've only heard stories about you. Good ones, though, I promise.
You're leaning into the horniness, and I am uncomfortable. I am an old lady on my deathbed, and I am wildly uncomfortable.
That's a wonderful question. Who left the door open and all these people are just wandering in to harass you as you are trying to die gracefully?
The young man smiles an easy, friendly smile. You notice now that he's closer that his cuffs and fingers are stained with ink. I think we're going to just point out the stains.
Ooh.
We're dying. At this point, dirty people are meaningless. We're dying.
Oh, but are you going to point them out politely or rudely?
We've been rude to the first person. Let's be polite to the second person. The ink stains grant you a fine conversation opener. You decide to ask about his vocation. I noticed the stains on your cuffs, sir. Are you a printmaker? The man seems momentarily surprised, then embarrassed, but then arrives looking pleased. You have seemed to guess correctly.
Yes, indeed. You are quite observant, though in truth I'm only an apprentice. I've been there a few years now. They treat us well, the other apprentices and me.
You're doing this to make me crazy now.
Yes, I am.
I am
absolutely
happy to hear to learn a trade in this day and age is the most valuable thing, I would say.
I agree. The pay isn't great at my level, of course, but I'm saving all I can.
A glint of determination and like creepy bullshit enters his eye. You sense there's more to this than what he's telling you.
All right. Are you going to push a little further? What is he saving up for? Or let the matter pass? Ask him to tell you more about his work.
You know what? This is a conversation for boring talk. I'm leaning towards just letting it pass and making him talk about printmaking more.
Oh, well, all right.
We're being not that nosy because death is coming. Why would I care about you?
I mean, but you know what? You're dying. Be nosy. Don't you like some hot goss? Don't you want to know more than how to roll ink onto a bunch of...
It's time to talk more about what it's like to be a printmaker. I am a mere dying old woman who's never done a work day in my life. I might as well listen to some man prattle on about the nature of printmaking. Even if you wonder what the young man might be saving for, you chide yourself. Such matters are none of your business, and if he wanted to tell you, he would have done so.
He tried!
You decide to leave it at that and continue making small talk about the young man's work. It's your turn.
I know, but I'm also, doing the thing. Since we have one of the new presses, things are going way faster, ever so much faster. Still, though, you've got to keep track of all the letters, right?
Well, the letters I want you to keep track of are F and U.
Ah! Ah! One time, I lost track of all the lowercase p's. No clue how all of them went missing at once, but we had to just use upside down d's all week.
This sort of chat goes on for some time. The young man is pleasant company and seems to enjoy talking about his work. After a time, however, he excuses himself and gets back before it gets too late. A little while later.
Oh, all right. Are you awake? May I come in?
A figure lets themselves in the room, facing away from you as they close the door behind them. As they turn, however, you realize something is dreadfully wrong. The porcine gentleman.
I did not bring something for dressing like a porcine gentleman. I have to admit. Oh, wait. All right. Okay, we'll do this. Ears. Okay. All right. Hold on a minute. I have
You're
to.
a good person.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. I know. I need a pig hat. Absolutely. All right. Well met, old fellow. By Jove, I think it's been near a decade, eh?
You blink, and you blink again. You look down at your hands, and then again at the face of the man, the pig who stands before you. Have you lost your mind?
Draw attention to it. Ignore it. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Team, I call for your aid. Are we going to talk about the pig face or not? We're just going to ignore it. Tracy's team ignore problems when we face them. Anyone else?
Do we have any arguments for drawing it? Oh, yes, pig it up.
Okay. I need arguments, frameworks, something. You know what? I'm dying. I don't want to die thinking I'm crazy. I need to do some reality testing.
All right, let's do that.
Oh, but June also wants me to ignore it. You all want me to ignore. Oh my gosh! I guess we're gonna ignore it.
Okay.
Ignore have it. It's three.
All right. Okay.
The pig face. I don't want to ignore it, but I'll live. Ignore. Despite the fact that this person is clearly not a regular human being, you inexplicitly decide to let it go. Maybe if you were on your deathbed, you would fight this a bit more. But honestly, pig people are the least of your worries right now. Thank you for visiting. The pig man joins you at your bedside, patting your hand with his, yes, a human hand.
Hey, but where are my manners? I've brought you some confections. Do try some. What?
The pig man brings out a box, a brightly colored box tied with a ribbon, and places it beside you. You open the box and see a few delicate pastries. Thank you very much. You speak automatically, the gesture sinking in more quickly somehow, as if at least normal and as it was at least normal and precedented. If pigmen as this did in fact live upon the earth with us, at least they brought gifts when called. You earnestly wonder more if you have lost your mind. No. It looks like an opportunity. I can't let this slide. I'm sorry. We let it slide once, but the pigastries are a problem.
They're delicious.
I gotta know. Insist he's a pig. The more you think about it, the more you realize how ridiculous this is. This person is a pig. He simply cannot walk into your home bearing confections. Expect not to be questioned. It is simply not how things are done, and you will not stand for it. Sir, you try to make yourself voice firm insofar as much as you can. You are a pig, a swine, an upright hog with human hands. What are you doing in my home? The pig man looks once more completely unabashed. He roars with laughter, slapping his knee with gusto.
Look at you, all hot and bothered. I can tell you're the funniest old sod this side of the Thames. Oh, you're mad as a hatter, what?
You can tell this isn't going to go anywhere. At a loss for anything else to do, you decide to make polite small talk with the pig person. It turns out his name is Swinus Hog.
At your service.
You simply accept this and move on.
And so then I said to the fellow, well, that's hogswash, isn't it? He's
honestly very good company. After a long and hearty chat and helping himself to one of the pastries he brought you, Swinus Hog takes his leave. After he leaves, you find it difficult to recall his face. Had he really been a pig, or was your mind playing tricks on you? The day grows long, and you are very tired. The time has come to decide who will you choose to leave your enormous fortune behind to. Okay. I feel like we were very mean to Matilda, but she already opened her cafe. Her dream is achieved. She doesn't need an enormous fortune. And Rebster Crumblebottom has a long and futured career turning D's into P's and P's into D's. I feel like the most interesting choice is to give the enormous fortune to the porcine gentleman Swinus Hog. However, if you be convinced otherwise, please tell me what you'd like us to do.
Yeah. No, now it is in your hands. Oh, Lady June Squirrel says nobody. Ooh, the most
my wealth to the world. That's a choice too. I think it's either the porcine gentleman or nobody. At least the porcine gentleman brought a treat. Neither of these other bitches brought anything.
Their good manners. They brought their good manners. I mean, the soft-spoken gentleman was bringing a lot to the table. I personally think. Ooh. Oh, Lady June Squirrel says her. Oh, we've got multiples for nobody.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll give it to nobody. Seems like a waste of a giant fortune, but we'll find out.
Go to a museum.
Rest in peace, Artie Mindwell McKelsifer, aged 70, died of scurvy, swinepox, and bleach. The relatives of Artie Mindwell McKelsifer were deemed ultimately unworthy of their enormous fortune, and instead the deceased has elected to be buried with their vast sums. Seems like a waste. Sometime later, said grave was found tragically desecrated, likely by grave robbers.
Or maybe by Swinius Hog.
Maybe by pigs. We received the gatekeep grave rob ending. Okay. We have time to do this one more time, I believe.
One more? All right. Yeah, I mean, consider me down for the
I think
challenge.
nobody, it's always the same. I think it's always the same for nobody.
I think so. Yeah.
So we're not going to choose nobody again. Somebody is going to get the wealth this time.
Once more with feeling. Here we go.
Okay. Yes, Great Rob Goldboss. You're awake.
Oh, no.
Your name is Arnie Meinwell Nicalcifer at the ripe old age of 36. Your time on this mortal coil is nearly up. As bequeathed the person of your station, you have an enormous fortune and inheritance to bequeath to every individual. 3 beloved, though distant relatives will visit you, intending to pay their final respects. Choose wisely. One of them will be the beneficiary of your enormous fortune.
So aged at 36.
36? Ooh. Oh, it's like my age. We're dying today.
Yes, I was going to say your actual age. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Hello, may I come in?
After a respectful pause, a man's head pokes through the door. It's the soft-spoken man. Do we want to speed run through this one because we already know the choices, or do we want to go through the whole business again?
Well, we could take different choices this time.
Okay. Is now a good time? Oh, it's your turn.
No, this is my part. Is now a good time? I wasn't sure if you were asleep.
He steps in properly, and you're able to get a better look at him. The young man is tall, dark-skinned, and respectably dressed in business attire, with a kind smile on his face. While you don't recognize him offhand, you smile back and easily. Come in, young man. Thank you for visiting me today. The young man nods and approaches, removing his hat and seating himself on your bedside chair.
Webster Crumblebottom, at your service. It's good to finally meet you. We're related through Uncle Mortimer, but I've only heard stories about you. Good ones, though, I promise.
The young man smiles easily, smiles an easy, friendly smile. You notice now that he is closer, that his cuffs and fingernails are stained with ink. Now, last time, we pointed out politely. This time, he came into my... Basically, I've reincarnated, and the same bastard is back, and he's still got inky hands. Point out the ink stains rudely. He should have washed his hands before visiting. I've chosen violence. You scoff and look down at the young man's dirty sleeves and fingers. Why hadn't you washed before visiting a dying relative? You find the behavior very disrespectful. Young man, there's a basin just outside the room where the wretched doctors wash their hands before administering their horrid cure-alls. You will go and wash yourselves before rejoining me. The young man appears highly taken aback, his face flushing with embarrassment. How very dare!
I'm sorry.
He stands hurriedly, rushing to the hallway to find the basin you indicated. You hear him scrubbing for quite some time before he returns.
I'm very sorry. I couldn't get it all off. It's ink, you see. From the print shop where I work, it never comes off all the way.
The young man approaches tentatively, seemingly afraid to sit lest you admonish him again. Now, here's a new question. Do we keep bullying him? Or do we, let it end and ask more? Bully or not bully?
I'm just so sweet.
I love that it's fun to bully people.
Relent. Thank you, Tracy.
Okay.
I appreciate the vote for relenting.
Okay. You've had your fun. Now Oh, Julie said Julie. Oh. Now I need a tie-breaking vote. Bully or
I'm
relent?
so sweet. I'm so affable.
Two bullies.
Oh no. Oh no. All right. No.
But now it's
no, we've got
even.
enough.
Okay, we've got
2 more for relenting.
okay. So relent is currently winning.
Relent!
Relent has got 2 votes. Okay, we're relenting. We're relenting. You've had your fun. Now be kinder and ask him what he does for a living. As much fun as it is to sometimes make people squirm, you feel a little guilty as you see the young man's reddened fingers. He is clearly scrubbed well just now at the wash basin. The ink was simply the ink was simply well into his fingers from long days working with it. You may sit down once more, young Webster. You try to make your voice kinder, more reassuring, and he tentatively smiles as he returns to his seat. So I take it you work with ink. The young man looks anxious for a moment and then realizes you are making a joke to lighten the mood, and he relaxes.
Yes, indeed. I'm a printmaker's apprentice. It's a good trade.
Indeed it is. And do they treat you well as an apprentice?
They do. It's hard work and not great pay. But I'm saying I'm sorry. Let me try again. They do. It's hard work and not great pay. But I'm saving up all I can.
A glint of determination enters the young man's eye. You sense there is more to this than what he's telling you. So we are going to press further because last time we took this other option.
Yes.
Push a little further. You can't help your curiosity. It's dreadfully little to do while waiting to die at 36. And his tone has intrigued you. You try to find out more. What are you saving up for, young man? A house of your own? You intentionally chose an example that would be quite the lofty goal for an apprentice, in hopes of coaxing out his true dream. This appears to work. The young man smiles a little bashfully, but the determined glint does not leave his eye.
No, not so grand as that. I do, however, hope to have enough to ask Miss Adelia Rhine, that hussy, to marry me and to keep her in sort of comfort she's used to. She's a perfect woman, I tell you truly, and she loves me. I'd do anything for her to keep her happy, anything.
You can't help but smile along this young man. His love for this woman shines clearly through his words. His true reason for approaching you shines through as well. If young Webster were to inherit your enormous fortune, he would have a much better chance of marrying his intended. So, do we want to keep things vague and chat about his girlfriend? Or do we want to imply very heavily, but not decide, just imply very heavily that his money troubles are to be no more? Because I'm going to tell you right now, we probably won't choose him because there's 2 other people and they could be very interesting.
Or they could be awful.
They could be awful. Do we want to imply that we're gonna give him his money regardless of whether or not we intend to actually do that? Or we want to keep it vague? Votes can begin now.
Yes, let us know what you think. I'm sort of personally in the vague camp. But I'm not the one with the enormous fortune.
I think it's wild that they're always voting. So it's vague. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. We're not getting the comments from Facebook directly anymore. That's weird.
We are getting some, but there's like a little
Vague. Okay.
Delay.
Vague. We're going to keep it vague. Everybody wants it to be vague. We're going to keep it vague. As touching as the young man's story is, you feel it's neither the time nor place for the decision. It would be not due to be hasty. You do, however, continue to speak to the young man speak of the young man's intended. He truly glows when speaking of her, and it appears he could do so for a very long time. After some time, the young man realizes how much time has passed and politely excuses himself. A short time later.
May I enter? Oh.
Oh my. A man in a pinstripe suit and a bowler hat enters the room. Immediately you can feel something is off about this man. And no, it is not just his clearly villainous mustache. He simply looks too smug to be visiting a person on their deathbed. That is no proper facial expression with which to greet the dying and decrepit, obviously evil-looking man.
Oi, good afternoon, my dear.
His voice is oily, thick, with humor at the joke that you neither see nor understand. Can you try to do that? The game itself is giving you a director's note.
Yeah, no, hold on. All right, let's see. Try. All right, I'm going to try.
Oily.
Oily.
Humor.
Yeah.
That it you see nor understand.
Yeah. I'm going to try. Okay. God.
Also, you do not recall being his dear, as you do not recall ever meeting the man before in your life. Even so, he sweeps closer without invitation, bending in glorious bow before sitting, again uninvited, in your adjacent chair.
You, my dear, are looking radiant. I trust you've been heeding the words of the good doctors. Getting fresh air, plenty of rest. I'm sure you'll be up and about in no time.
He smiles wickedly, as if wondering if you will rise to his taunting. Play along and act like you've known him his whole life, or take the bait, ask who he is and who the bloody hell he is and what he wants.
Ooh.
Do we play along or do we take the bait? Do we want to do violence?
Oh, let's see what they have to say. What do you think? Violence or play along? Oh, ask. Violence. Oh, my goodness. We've got, more for violence. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lot of asks. I feel like we can go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This man is clearly up to no good, and you are not about to play along with his games any further. You are far too old at 36 for such things. You draw yourself up as best you can, propped up on so many pillows, and glare at the man. Excuse me, sir, but just who are you, and what basis do you claim to be related to me? I'm sure I've never seen you before in my life. The man's grin widens.
Ah, poor sweetie. I don't know what voice I'm doing for this fellow. I apologize. I don't do evil very well. This is the worst. Your mind falters, it seems. 'Tis I, your dearest cousin Xenophon Coxit. I was here but a fortnight ago, but perhaps you forgot. Alas, the mind is so fragile, so brittle.
He takes a moment to pause for emphasis.
But that's all right, my dear. I take no offense to your forgetting me. I only wish to check upon the health of my most favorite, most beloved of relations. After all, what else would I be paying the doctors for myself?
What a claim, and a ridiculous one at that. Obviously, a person of your means is paying for the doctors yourself. Right?
No. Oh.
Okay,
What?
are we going to allow ourselves to be gaslit or kick him out?
Oh.
Question our reality or kick him out? Da da da. We're waiting for you to share your thoughts so we can make moves.
Kick him. We got he's a liar. Kick him. Go on.
Okay.
Get.
We've got lots of violence. That's enough violence.
Yeah. Out! Yes!
Fine. Best to get him out of here and fast. You've had quite enough of this.
Yes!
Sir, I think it's time you left. If you do not, I will scream for the manservant, who I know is outside. You keep your voice as firm as you can, given the circumstances. The man appears taken aback. It seems he did not anticipate this level of resistance.
Quite so, my dear. No need to fuss.
He hastily retreats. Despite his honeyed words, it appears he does not wish to attract the ire of more able-bodied individuals.
I'll just be going then, not a problem. Perhaps another time. Yes, quite so, quite so.
The grin never leaves his face, but it does leave his eyes as he closes the door behind him. Okay.
He was definitely a pillow smotherer, I feel.
Yeah, I'm pretty glad that he's not I'm glad he's not around.
Mm-hmm.
You get the feeling that was a close one. Oh. A little while later.
Are you awake? May I come in?
A beautiful woman enters the room. You can tell two things instantly by the way she carries herself. Firstly, she is young. Everything from her hairstyle to the cut of her dress betrays this. Secondly, she cares very little for propriety. While the bare shoulders may be acceptable on one younger than she, this young lady ought to know better. She is also conspicuously bareheaded without a hat in sight. The nerve.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Why, you look absolutely ghastly.
While likely true, this sort of comment is not exactly welcome. Do we want to ignore the slight and move on? Or do we want to call her out indignantly?
I think you should. I mean, well, no, I'm not voting. I'm playing.
No, you're allowed to contribute.
You came hard for the soft-spoken gentleman. How can you not be a little bit indignant with this absolute strumpet?
Yes, call her out indignantly. How rude of the whelp. Of course you aren't looking your best. You are to die any day, and the world knows. You're going to teach her some respect if it's the last thing you do. Pardon? I'm certain you know better than to speak to an old person of 36 this way. Apologize at once. The girl appeals to take it back. It seems she hadn't intended this slight and likely hadn't realized her words were insulting at all.
Please forgive me. I meant no offense.
Her curtsy needed work, but her tone was sincere. You decide it's more productive to move on. Very well, child. Come in, sit closer, and tell me about yourself. Appearing grateful for the forgiveness, she bounds forward and joins you, sitting at the chair at your side. You can smell cheap, girlish perfume, and it irritates your nose. The girl feels uncomfortable this close to you, but smiles shyly anyway, an attempt at politeness, however feeble.
My name is Hesperance Terrycloth, Worcestershire. I'm your sister's husband's cousin's girl. My papa says I met you when I was little, but I don't remember. Sorry,
She falters here, not quite knowing what to say.
But I'm the youngest of 5.
a little lamely, but the meaning is clear to you. There is no dowry for young Hepperson's Terrycloth, Worcestershire.
Hesperance, terry cloth, Worcestershire.
Do we want to ask her about her hobbies or find out if there's someone in her life already?
Oh. She certainly giggles.
Okay. I think she's been so rude to us, we're going to ignore her problems and just talk about her hobbies. Avoid the subject, ask about her hobbies. So, young Hesperance, how do you like to spend your time? At this, the girl lights up. Any trace of the previous aspiration gone at once from her face. You marvel at this transformation.
I love poetry.
She says at once, no hint of hesitation. Her eyes gleam with delight as she continues.
I read as much as I can. Sometimes I get in trouble for using too much of the family's oil reading at night.
You smile too. The girl's enthusiasm is contagious. And do you write poetry as well?
Yes, I do. I write them for
There's the slightest hesitation as a slight blush forms on her face.
For my pen pal. We've been writing each other for years, ever since she moved away. We're bosom chums, don't you know?
I see. You did see.
We're gals. Being pals.
Pen pals being pen pals. Gals being pen pals. This pen pal appeared to be a special friend indeed, for a young Hesperance to speak of her so. You recall your youth having friends of similar special status before propriety had forced you to marry. Very well, young matey, you may go. Thank you for visiting me. Hesperance appears to recognize your dismissal was not meant unkindly. You are old, and after all, and the smallest of conversations tires you.
Old at 36!
Aged, truly aged, withered with time. She bobs polite courtesy and takes her leave. The day grows long and you are very tired. It's time to decide who will you choose to leave your enormous fortune behind to. Well, we could leave it to the evil man.
No.
So the evil man, clearly evil. That would be a weird choice to make.
Don't do that.
Choice, but a weird choice. The soft-spoken man, we could leave it to him, but we know that he's going to get enough money from his hard work.
Yeah, he's got a job.
But not only does Hesperance Terrycloth Worcestershire have no dowry to speak of, she's in love with a woman.
her gal pal by the pen. So you've got a vote for each of the soft-spoken man and our lesbian.
I am going to make an executive decision in the I think we're going to give it to the young woman as an executive decision because gay.
There's a lot of votes for our lesbian poet.
Okay. We leave the beautiful young woman, Hesperance Terrycloth Worcestershire, our giant fortune. Rest in peace, Artie Mindwell McAlcifer, age 36, died of King's Evil. Don't know what
that is.
Enormous fortune left to Hesperance Terrycloth Worcestershire. Hesperance is quite surprised to learn that she has chosen to receive the inheritance. She confirms a few times to make sure it's truly accurate before becoming very excited and beginning grand plans of her own. Plans which will definitely include her special friend. I shouldn't wonder.
Boston marriage!
Thank you for playing. You received the girly pop ending.
this is so ridiculous. It's a happy ending indeed for dear Hesperance Terrycloth Worcestershire.
And a happy ending for us. What a great way to close out. And we didn't get smothered by a creep. Isn't that
yeah.
great?
No. All right. Oh, now we have learned. Wow.
Tuberculosis. Cool.
Thank you. It was fabulous. Well done. Dying there at 36, very dramatically, with your enormous fortune, sending it out into the world.
I am glad that I'm glad of where we chose to send our money.
Yeah.
In the future, we might play this again for funsies at some point. If you felt this was great, please leave a comment on our Patreon page. If you're a Patreon member, let us know that this was the thing that you enjoyed.
Yes.
And leave comments on all our Facebook content and all of our Instagram content. Leave comments, because that's the only way you know that this is working.
And also, thank you so much for playing along with us. It was great fun to have your votes for things. Oh, dear Cindy Joy, I'm glad you're here. Always come to us on Fridays rather than watching sad news. That could be like a review. Watch us instead of sad news. We're very rarely sad. Usually we're full of silliness and whimsy. Yeah, I think that's right.
As always, take care of yourselves, get vaccinated, make a great costume, follow our Patreon, and treasure yourselves as we treasure you.
We'll see you.
Be kind to people who are dying, because maybe they'll leave you an enormous fortune.
You never know, my darlings. And so please remember to join us next Friday, as we are having our very special guest, David R. Slayton, joining us for extra gay time, 33% gayer next week. And on Saturday of next week, on the 12th, we welcome in Liana Renee Heber for a wonderful talk about books and ghost stories and all sorts of spooky goodness. It will be a wonderful time. More to be announced as we go through the month, but we have some more special guests queued up for you as well. So thank you all for a lovely evening. Grand Arbiter, thank you for a fantastic evening.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Cheers.